Jarvis, make her tall, like 6'2". 6'2". Jarvis, make her blue like the Na'vi. I'm missing something. I just don't know what it is. Oh, of course. Jarvis, make her a little bit more engaging with the subject. Yes, perfect. Now what you just saw wasn't some silly meme. I mean, it was kind of silly, but this is a very real problem that the movie Ex Machina actually pokes at. Now, before we take a deep dive into that, if you will, just bear with me, I'm gonna give you some context. We live in a world that has so much AI influence and integration woven throughout. Just take a moment to consider how much data is leaked or exploited with the click of an I agree to terms and conditions button. Now that button has lots of power, and whether that's used for better or for worse, with great power comes great responsibility. This doesn't even scratch the surface of what AI has access to. I mean, among other things, there's surveillance cameras and data tracking, which leads into how the internet knows what you want to buy, which is pretty much targeted ads. Aside from all this, I digress. Said simply, Ex Machina critiques the illusion that AI represents progress. Instead, it exposes the dangerous, unequal power structure embedded in its creation. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the sources, shall we? Written by Rayleigh and Ree, Critical AI, there's a reflective statement by Caroline Bassett, which reads, "The pervasive claim that AI can deliver more control and more freedom universally and without prejudice. This myth that AI liberates everyone in some sort of way is exactly what Alex Garland, the director of Ex Machina, dismantles. This film replaces the fantasy of freedom with a reality shaped by surveillance, coding, and concentrated power." Now, as for the film, we can see Caleb arriving at Nathan's crib, if you will. See what I did there? Use some slang. Anyways, we can see him arrive at his crib, and we literally needed to arrive with a helicopter. This screams isolation. I mean, look around. Nathan's domain, if you will, is surrounded by just forest, trees, birds, glaciers, a waterfall, river. I'm getting too much entrapped in his fantasy. It's almost enticing me. I gotta stop. But there's probably no human contact he has besides with a game warden, if there even is one out there. That's besides the point. When Caleb gets to his front door, the first thing we see is boom, keycard activation. You know what that is? That's control. I would have never guessed it. And after that, he gets inside. It is heavily surveilled by cameras everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. Caleb has access on his TV to Ava's, but we see later in the film that Caleb gets surveilled through his mirror, which is insane. I mean, utterly insane. That's beside the point. That's surveillance, if that doesn't speak for itself. And for some garnish on the top, if you will. I feel so fancy. Ava's room is unidirectionally transparent. All around it's partitioned by glass. Come on, I mean that's gotta be more control. It's crazy. It's almost like this is a power structure that formed AI. I know. Oh, I gotta stop. And that perfectly leads to this video's sponsor, NordVPN. Have you ever been a victim of data leakage, AI exploitation? Well, I'm sure you haven't. I probably have too, until I use NordVPN. NordVPN keeps you safe from a bunch of online piracy, data leakage, and AI exploitation, and all this cool stuff for a lot of money. And wait a minute. Besides this fake sponsor, AI exploitation in itself creates a whole new market. The companies like NordVPN, Kaspersky, I really don't know any others, but that's the only ones I've seen for ads on YouTube, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a necessary thing to have, but it does create, it's just something to think about. It's not anything crazy. This makes Ava like a prisoner and an exhibit. Every single one of her movements is analyzed by Nathan on the security cameras later. This very physical containment is very heavily mirrored with her social and technological constraints that Nathan places on her. which is for the exception of her access to power. And that is perfectly leading into my next point, which is the film analysis. I feel like that should be more dramatic. Where's the money, Wazowski? Where's the money? Okay, I really gotta stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. When we look at Ava's power taps, or no, that's not the right word. When we look at Ava's power breach, or like when she sets out the power, the movie does a great job of creating this two different moods. It's a really great attachment. We have the room all illuminated, and then you have this dark, deep red. Not a single piece of concrete or part of their face is illuminated with white light, which is very common for studios to use to illuminate their subjects. But no, they literally only used red LEDs in that room. I did not see a single white light. This is a great tool that the film directors, Alex Garland, whoever was behind the lighting, used to create this two-dimensional kind of space. But when the lights were on, you knew everything was being surveilled. It was very like tense, kind of like you knew they were being watched. I felt like I was behind the scene Nathan. But whenever they create this red, it's almost like we're in Caleb shoots. It's a direction shift. And it's a really good tool that the film directors use. I'm not gonna like bombard you with my oh so great interpretation of it, which is really not. I'm really overemphasizing this. The next one was the use of camera angles, zoom, and music. In session 3 with Ava, this is where it gets a little weird with the interactions between Caleb and Ava. It's kind of intimate, you know? And I'm sure we all saw this in class for those who watched it in my honor seminar. And if you weren't there, it basically, I could show you, I'll put it up.
Fix on my eyes and lips. The way you hold my gaze. Or don't. Do you think about me when we aren't together?
Yeah, you saw how close they were, and you saw the music. There were a lot of good film techniques used. We got a really close-up shot of Ava's and Caleb's faces, which almost felt like you could hear her inner workings of her AI compartments and Caleb's breathing. It was insane. I mean, it was a really good. I almost felt uncomfortable for sure, but it was a very good use of that up and close personal kind of thing, even though the lights weren't red. It was really good. And not only that, on top of that, you have the music. The music was a really soft, almost ethereal like mood or sound. I mean, I'll put it up again.
Or don't.
You hear that? It's like it's very light. It's very intimate almost, you know? It's like flourishing is happening. Like it feels like things are going somewhere, and it's a little weird for an AI and a human. No, that's very weird, not even a little weird. Anyways, you see this meme right here? I really don't know if it's gonna be right here or on my face or whatever. It could be anywhere. It just depends on where I put it in post. In this, not only don't trust yourself, don't trust your AI girlfriend. I don't know how many times that has to be said for nonsense people like Caleb. I mean, I'm sure he's smart, but why are you trusting this AI that has probably been around for like a couple of months with your pretty much life? You know Nathan is a possible threat. I mean, I'm not even gonna get into it, but trusting your AI girlfriend is kind of crazy, or AI love fling. Come on now. Shame. Everyone shame Caleb. Shame. Whenever I was watching Ex Machina, the scene of Caleb like clawing at the door, help, please, Ava, that thing, I'm definitely not doing a great job. This is why I don't have an Emmy award. Ava! Anyways, that reminded me of like the Michael Don't Leave Me Here meme. I hope that's not too niche.
Don't leave me here! My God! Help me!
Now as for my final take on Ava's final act, we see that Nathan literally warned. He warned Caleb. It's all in her code. She does not like you. She just wants to get out by any means necessary, whether that's attraction, whatnot. It was, to me, she was just following her code. And a lot of people might be like, it was because she was abused and all that. I mean, yeah, some of that might have influenced her code as it kind of renews itself. But besides that fact, Ava was getting out by any means necessary, and we saw some data exploitation from Nathan to Caleb. He pulled from his online adult sites to see who he found attractive, and he also, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot that went into that. And not only that, his whole company as a whole uses data from all over. There was a scene where he goes over how he created his internet, which is insane. Like, he has so much access to everyone's information. And just a quick reminder, so does Google, so does Apple. And they may say, oh, we don't do anything with this. For all we know, that could be true. And I would like to believe that too. I mean, it's just something to think about. Like, they definitely have access to whatever I see, whatever you see on a daily basis. I digress yet again. She was not coded for love. She was coded for escape. Now for my scholarly sources, I'm just going to list off the names real quick. I don't have them completely memorized, so I'm going to read from my phone. I swear I'm not cheating. It's just, I don't feel like memorizing them. So the one by Mark Koeckelberg is Privacy and the Other Usual Suspects. And the Kate Crawford one's Atlas of AI, Power Politics, and the Planetary Cost of Artificial Intelligence. And the one by Cheryl Vint was Robots. And we also have The Critical AI by Rayleigh and Ree. In my first source, written by Mark Koeckelberg, he argues that AI systems rely heavily on enormous amounts of data from hidden networks, which is very important to this story. As we see, I just explained it like 20 seconds ago. He uses a bunch of people's data to make his AI models. Koeckelberg writes that often people do not even know that data are being gathered, and that data can be sold, moved around, or integrated into training data without their knowledge or true consent. Ava lives within the same parameters of this logic, surveillance without consent, and Koeckelberg warns us that AI may lead to new forms of manipulation, surveillance, and totalitarianism in a more hidden and highly effective way. Nathan's very experiment is this prediction brought to life. Well, fake life. I mean, ex machina life, whatever you want. My second source that I'll be going over is The Robots by Cheryl Vint, and this goes over robots as products of human desires. Cheryl Vint writes that artificial beings exist as products of human desires, fears, and fantasies. Sounds a little familiar, does it? Ava's very creation, alongside the other robots that I will talk about in a second, reflect Nathan's desire for technological superiority and dominance. It's not progress or companionship, by all means. Definitely not that. I'm sure he might have started with that kind of in mind. I mean, but it got very sick and twisted very quick. I mean, with the very first few prototypes, he explains he has done some gruesome things. Well, not gruesome. He has done some very explicit things with these robots. That's one for sure. He also makes them to where they can feel sensations when performing such acts. So it's very twisted, sick, and kind of sad that I know these AI robots don't necessarily have sentience. I mean, they kind of do. They definitely do, actually. It's not like ChatGPT. But they are developing own self-thought, and he's just like stripping them from all of their sense of sentience, you know? It's very objectifying to see it. Now I'm not coming off as a performative man. It's so objectifying to see women being used. I mean, yes, obviously, come on. It's stating the obvious, but yeah, anyways, I digress. Vint also argues that robots can occupy an uneasy space between object and subject. And this kind of goes into the uncanny, which we saw very, very, very prominent in the movie. We went over this in class for our honor seminar, the concept of the uncanny, where there's this whole graph. So I'll put in right here. It's this whole thing, and I believe that the AI robots are definitely highly uncanny. Now they surpass this really human kind of set of traits. Like literally everything down to the anatomical detail besides the internal organs is human. It's very creepy, and if I saw like an AI robot, you'd have to detach yourself from reality to like feel not creeped out, which is very weird. I don't want to get into that. This is not what this video essay is about. Ava speaks, thinks, and acts like a person, but Nathan just treats her as replaceable equipment. Now, is that objectively true? Yes, but it's definitely not okay ethically. If this were to be true in the real world, we cannot just like have sentient things that we hurt feelings. I mean, it's like childish as it sounds, it's true. And my third source, which is Atlas of AI by Kate Crawford, goes over invisible labor and extraction. Crawford reveals that AI relies heavily on invisible human labor. She writes that this labor is concealed behind interfaces and abstracted away from view. Ava's very intelligence is built on this same idea, where he harvested a bunch of people's data and created her very existence. Now, and this is warranted that this was all done without their permission. Now, they might have put the agreed to terms and services or terms and conditions box, but it doesn't matter. It was all done without their permission, because you get in that murky gray water, and this is why a lot of big tech companies have lots of lawyers, because I feel like they know they're exploiting if they are doing that. So a lot of those companies have that terms and conditions where they explicitly state in them, like, we are probably going to use your data, and you're agreeing to this for future furtherments and advancements in our company. Am I right? Am I right, tech CEO? See, that's my friend over there. You can't see him. You can't see him. It's Jeff Bezos. Like, you can hear his laugh from over here. Kate Crawford adds that AI heavily depends on resources extracted from marginalized communities and labor performed under precarious conditions. Nathan benefits from this very extraction without any accountability whatsoever, which makes him the embodiment of global AI power imbalance. Now, what does Ex Machina tell us about AI, or teach us about AI? Well, there are three that have been heavily repeated throughout this entire video, and I'm going to tell them to you yet again. Surveillance, exploitation, and power imbalance. These are the very things that Caroline Bassett warns us against in her reflective statement in the very beginning of Critical AI. Ava's final act was not just some random thing that she deliberately did. It was also not an act of triumph. It was a warning to all that systems that build AI determines the futures that AI will create. Now for the final reflection. Studying Ex Machina shows that AI is not just some technology. It's a human power structure made visible. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. No, seriously, let that sink in. Let this sink in. Okay, it's an old joke. I need to stop. Now, I hope my references, memes, and videos that I put up are not irrelevant to you. Otherwise, this video would be a lot more boring than it's supposed to be. But thank you so much for sticking around to the end and listening. Speaking of listening, they're always listening. What the? Oh, no, please, 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 please.